Goals at half-time between Manchester United and Spurs at Old Trafford. Not for the want of shooting on sight by Manchester United, though. They took plenty of pot shots and some decent efforts as well. Damien Delaney and Richard Dunn are watching this. Your assessment of that first half, Richard?
It was really enjoyable. It was very high intensity from Manchester United. They pressed really well. They got the crowd going. They'll feel really happy going at half-time about their performance in the first half. But on the other hand, so will Tottenham. Tottenham won't feel like confidence is damaged in any way, because they would have expected they'll go to Old Trafford, they'll have probably little of the ball, but they'll just try and counter-attack. So they'll be quite happy with how the first half's gone. Do
you want to have a look at that press, that intent from Man United?
Yeah, this is why I like this manager. You know, the way he sets the team up, he understands it, he sees it. This is right from the off there, everybody working in unison. You see the front five players there. And then the most important thing is Casemiro and the centre-backs, which we're going to see in the other clips, are right in shot there. There's very, very little room for Tottenham there. Nowhere for them to go. Look, they're looking. There's not a whole pile on. There you go. Martinez coming in, and not just coming in, but crossing over in front of Varane and going all the way in and getting the throw in. Here we see Spurs trying their hardest to try and play out. They clip a ball in. That's what I'm talking about from centre-backs, locking in the press. There's nothing more demoralising for the front four players when they go on a press and then the ball gets played around the corner and it goes into centre-forward and they're out and there's nothing in it. This is the best example for me. Nothing comes off it, but Varane is there. That's what you call supporting the press, underpinning the work that the front four players are doing. I can guarantee if Harry Maguire is on the pitch, that doesn't happen. And the front four players go on the press, like they try to at times under Ranić and a little bit under Solskjaer, but then those little balls get popped out round the corner into number 10, their turn, two centre-backs on the halfway line. All that hard work is undone. But I love that performance from Manchester United in the first half.
Why does that not happen with Maguire on the pitch? And you could maybe throw Ronaldo in there as well.
Number one, Maguire won't go in there, and if he does and it goes into his feet, they're going to get turned. He's going to get turned and they're going to set off in a counter-attack. Varane is quite happy to go all the way in and leave Martinez in a 1v1. Both full-backs are in as well, by the way, so they're leaving two centre-backs and they're going in tight. Bearing in mind, Spurs have two up front. They're quite happy to go 2.5 for 2, and the half is Casemiro just in case, or maybe a fullback who's in the vicinity. But all that good play for United has come because they're on the front foot and the press is underpinned by centre-backs and Casemiro behind it.
I only found out as I looked it up there during the first half, Hugo Lloris was nominated for the Goalkeeper of the Year at the Ballon d'Or Awards. Now, he didn't win it, but maybe if the voting took place after tonight, he'd have half a chance, Richard.
Yeah, I was wondering why they're shooting from so far, whether they thought that Lloris had a weakness or something from shots from distance, and it does seem to be that every time the ball gets anywhere within the goal, 20 yards, 25 yards, they're happy to get their shots away, and they've been close. And I wouldn't say they're huge Man United chances. I think they're Man United shots more or less, but Tottenham, this is the only one coming up where they got in behind Tottenham, and this is a real good opportunity, which you should put it away. But yeah, like you say, great save. But again, mostly just shots, and Tottenham won't mind this. Tottenham will go, well, 25, 30 yards, allow them to shoot. You'd expect your goalkeeper to save them, even if he is making a lot of them look spectacular. It's a good volley, but in general, Man United haven't been able to get behind Tottenham's back line, and I think they've thought that let's strike a few from distance, see if we can get deflection and see if we can beat the keeper from far away.
So Richard thinks that Spurs will be comfortable enough in what's going on in the first half, but do they need to offer a little bit more than what they have?
Yeah, I think so. Conte will be comfortable, but we want more, because you can't just. You say he can't, he might just come in and go on the ropes and cover up, because that's what all they've done this first half, is just almost like the rope-a-dope, but they've just sat in and soaked up, and they offered Manchester United those kind of peripheral spaces for shots to come in from distance. Sooner or later, if you keep getting up them shots, laws of averages, one of them is going to fly in. Manchester United will just be happy that they're pinning Spurs in and making life really, really difficult for them.
Their biggest chance, such as it was, fell to our own Matt Doherty. We were bigging him up pre-match.
Yeah, but the Harry Kane's pass there, the technique on that is outrageous, the way he gets that out, and Sancho will be absolutely livid, and he'll be delightful that nothing came of that, because I tell you, if he left Matt Doherty skip in that easily and he scored, I think Sancho might have been in a lot of hot water. But this is Casemiro working hard here, give him due, man. He works his feet really well, puts on under enough pressure. That's pretty much it from Spurs, to be honest with you. There hasn't been a whole pile for them. So Conte will be delighted with the defensive diligence, but he'll want to land a couple of blows of his own.
Have you been as impressed as Damien with United's performance on the flip side of that?
Yeah, I think they've been very good, and I agree with Harry Maguire in the team, and possibly Ronaldo. They can't do it. So when people question his team choices, tonight he's got a spot on. You need to be a mobile defender to be able to play like that. And in Varane and Martinez, they're quite happy, and they're confident, I suppose, in their own abilities to mark one for man, that they can go in, they can follow the player all the way in if need be, and they're not afraid.
And the Rashford one as well is important. You know, people say that, you know, United are missing goals, so we need Ronaldo on the pitch. But I promise you, Rashford is staying high, staying central, staying on Dyer, and he's threatening him behind. So he's playing his part as well. Whereas Ronaldo will come to feet more. United just need a goal, and they've got enough players on the pitch that can get it.
Yeah, plenty of good stuff from Man United. No goals yet, though, and I'm sure, as the lads are saying, Antonio Conte might be reasonably pleased with how things are going. Second half on the way. Chelsea were held by Brentford today. There's a fairly simple scenario, straightforward anyway, mathematically, for Manchester United. If they beat Chelsea in a massive game away from home at the weekend, they will be in the top 4. So this is the situation now that we're looking at with Eric Ten Hag and Manchester United, which is pretty good going considering where they were after 2 games this season.
Yeah, absolutely. At the start, you do think that it's going to be a tough season. But I suppose it's kind of a moment that Ten Hag get to say, OK, if I'm going down my way, and I'm going down swinging. I'm not placating anyone else. I'm not doing things the way you've done them before to keep you guys happy. He's come in and he's been absolutely ruthless, and he's imposed himself on that team, and the players seem to have responded. And to get him from where they were after Brentford to where they are today, going reasonably well in the Europa League as well, things are certainly looking up.
Didn't take them long. We talked at half-time. 14 shots in the first half, by the way, is the most on record for Man United in the Premier League since they started taking these kind of records in the first half of a match. Couldn't get past Hugo Lloris. Didn't take them long to get past him in the second half.
No, we spoke at half-time and said just continue to do what they were doing, because they done everything right in the first half, bar the goal, obviously. And Damien highlighted the high press that they were putting on, and you see straight from the off they were onto it, and Martinez is aggressive coming in and winning this ball, which Son didn't fancy at all, and then the mistake again, and they're forced onto the reaction. And they've been great, because when they win it back, it's about playing it forward and getting in behind teams, and that forced forward pass gets the players up the pitch. They've got 5 of them there in and around the box, and they get their bit of luck. And they had so many shots from outside the box in the first half, and you're going, all they need is the little deflection.
That was probably the worst of the shots they had. He was nearly over the whole night.
He was stretching for it almost, but when you continually do the right things, you get lucky. And that's
Absolutely.
what United done.
Absolutely. You have enough shots, eventually something that will happen. You can't keep law of averages. Statistically, something that will happen, or someone will find a top corner. But Martinez made that goal. You know, when that ball popped up, he could quite easily have just stayed with Kane, but he thought, no, I'm going to get it on my second one as well. And Son saw him coming and just got out of the way. That's sustaining attacks, creating those periods of sustained pressure. It's been very, very easy for Martinez there to see it going in. Kane's flicking it on. I'll drop off. I'll let Casemiro deal with that. No, I'm going to go and do it. And he did it brilliantly.
You're both loving Martinez, because you showed him at half-time as well, doing that sort of thing. He and Varane make a big difference to them.
Hugely, because then they're doing their jobs, which means Casemiro can get on with doing his job. Too often in the past, you've centre-backs asking midfield players to do their job for them. Freddie McTominay, Lindelof, Maguire, that box. Gee, if we ever see that again, I mean, nobody wants to go back to that. That's what you want to see.
Yeah, the game plan you're talking about there, getting a lot of shots off, defending aggressively, essentially defending further up. It doesn't sound overly complicated. It's not some sort of work of genius that Ten Hag is trying to bring in here, is it? Or is it just getting the players to follow his instructions? It's
a very simple way of being organised and being aggressive. It's just go and press the ball, go and play against your man, be better than your opponent in 1v1 situations. And it brings out the personality in players. So you look at Martinez there and he's going, I don't care who I'm up against, I'm going to jump and win this ball. And he didn't have any fear. And something like Damien says, you look at United and they hesitate and they take a step backwards. Every United player tonight was on the front foot. They wanted to win the ball, and they knew if they didn't, and the next guy would be to support them, and it just breeds confidence throughout the whole team.
I'm just smiling. Bruno Fernandes is a player who always has his personality on show, for better or worse, and we saw one of the better elements of his play with this finish.
Yeah, and this goal right from the very start is incredible. It's really good. Richard mentioned there about passing forward, not looking to just keep the ball. This comes in, nice little flick on there. We'll see in one of the replays coming up that Harry Kane is offside, and credit the linesman, which you see here, he had his flag up, but look at Sancho break his neck there. Now Shaw as well. Then this bit of play from the midfield trio was brilliant. Lovely little ball from Fred, nice little set from Bruno, and moves it on one to Anthony, and we're all seeing he's coming inside, he's coming inside, he's coming inside, because that's what he does. Still very, very difficult to defend, but he moves it on brilliantly. 2 little bits of luck there. 1 getting past Romero, 2 with Fred trying to hook it and get the other side of Eric Dyer, but take nothing away from the finish. That is as casual, as calm, as precise. That is a guy full of confidence, balls bouncing as well. Not the easiest thing to do, but he arcs it beautifully. This is the offside we're talking about as a cross comes in. Ben Davies gets a little flick on here, and the two of them are still offside. Credit to Hay, make the fabulous save, but now all of a sudden, look at the reaction. United have 6-7 players in their own box, and to go from 6-7 players in your own box to scoring in the opposition box in 4-5 seconds with some neat, intricate play, really good stuff.
Referee's been getting a bit of a hard time recently, so it's nice to hear you give a bit of a shout out to the ref there for having the cop on to play advantage. What about Bruno there? Damien said full of confidence, but not necessarily based on what he's done this season so far. He looks like a player who, when he's not playing well, you know, we kind of know the way he can carry himself, but then he can produce moments like that. So where are you and Bruno Fernandes after that performance?
Tonight was a good performance from him. I think if United don't win, he blames everybody else. I think he's the captain of the club when he's playing, so he needs to be the leader.